Welcome to At Your Library. I'm your host, Cathleen Clifford. Joining me today is one of our amazing Groton Public Library librarians, Kara Popinchalk.
Hi, Kathleen.
Welcome, Kara. So today we're going to talk about winter reading, and we usually have a winter reading challenge or events that go on. Tell us about when that's going to happen this year.
So it's going to run from January 7th until March 7th. So we're going to do a little bit of an extension this year. Usually we ended on February 28th, but we wanted to give people a little extra time. So it'll kick off on the 7th. We may be having a craft program that night. But you'll see in our new calendar, things will be peppered in. So keep an eye out for that and for our newsletter too. But basically, we like to keep it simple around here for our challenges. So this year, instead of a bingo, we're just going to give you a couple of prompts to guide you. There are 14 in total, but you don't have to do them all. Each prompt that you complete will give you a chance to win our grand prize, which happens to be a Kindle Fire.
A Kindle Fire?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what people can win? Nice.
Yes.
And how many do they have to do to be entered?
Only one. So you can start with one. If you only wanted to read one throughout the entire process, you could, and that would still get you a chance to win. But obviously, the more books you read, the more chances you get to win.
Are there any other prizes this year?
Yes, so we'll be doing weekly raffles as well. So we are going to be having a couple of lovely gifts that we have here.
Oh, I love that bag.
So, some cute tote bags. This is just a little lap desk, perfect for those cozy nights at home where you are reading or doing some work. So that's very nice, but the best one I think that we have here was paid for by our circle of friends, and is a lovely picnic blanket, soft and cozy fleece, and it says "Cozy Up with a Good Book," Groton Public Library.
And the Circle of Friends sponsored us this year?
They did, just for this specific gift too, but also some of these as well. So yeah,
Very nice.
It's very nice of
I
them.
think that everybody should have a carry-around blanket
Absolutely.
so they can do it. So I get to that point where I'm like, okay, what do I read? What do I read? And my mind just goes blank. So I'm always looking for some good suggestions.
Yes.
So
that's kind of why we did
I
the
brought
prompts.
some books that I read this year.
Perfect.
And you brought some books.
I did.
And I'm sure some of these would fit into the prompts.
Absolutely. We can go over a couple of them. There's some fun ones on there too.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, one of them is a book mentioned in a virtual author talk. So if you don't know about those, they are they're not quite a Zoom, but you sign up for it through our calendar or through our website. You can watch popular authors such as, I know we have Shelby Van Pelt, who did Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Oh, yes.
Frida McFadden, who you're going to be talking about later.
Yes.
Leanne Moriarty, and so many more. Even things that are nonfiction. Smithsonian's Gem Collection was up this month, I believe, and a bunch of things. So they're also pre-recorded, so you can watch them later.
So if you can't watch them right at the time that they're showing, you can catch them later.
Exactly.
Or if you read one of the books that we recommend and you're like, oh, I really want to know more about this author, you can check our list because I know that there are hundreds on there.
Yes, definitely. So such a long back catalog too. Other ones are fun, like book themed around winter, or some areas in the collection that maybe people don't know as much about, like our short story collection,
Yes.
our book club books, books from our displays that we have around here, including our staff picks area, which has just kind of got a revamp.
Yes,
So
I love it.
And definitely audiobooks and ebooks, which we love to talk about too. So
Fantastic. So do you want to start off and talk about maybe a few books that you read this year?
sure. Let's see. So the first one I'll talk about is called The Caretaker by Ron Rash. It was actually December's book club pick from me.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so this one is historical fiction. It's set in the 1950s in North Carolina. Jacob, who is a man, like a young man from a wealthy small town family, goes off and elopes with she is a seasonal maid, local. And his family is not too happy about that. So they actually end up disowning him. And at the same time, Jacob is conscripted to serve in the Korean War. So one of his best friends, it's called The Caretaker, is a man named Blackburn Gant. I know he was stricken with polio as a child. That sort of plays into his character too.
Right, because he can't go to war.
Yes, yep. So he asks Blackburn to watch over his pregnant wife Naomi at the same time. So a lot of things happen. There's obviously a lot of friendship going on in here, some rivalry between the two friends, and then what is basically self-interest disguised as familial love with the family going on. So it's just a lot of drama, but it's very good, very good.
Excellent.
So, yeah. Did you want to go off to your next one?
Oh, well, we mentioned Frida McFadden.
We did.
And for those of you who have not heard of Frida McFadden, she is this new, out of nowhere hit author. She's on the New York Times bestseller list, and she writes what they call mind-bending thrillers. This one that I have is called The Boyfriend, and it is an obsession thriller book, things we do for love, you know, and do you miss those signs where, you know, maybe there's a few red flags because you're desperate for love? Well, Sydney certainly thinks she found the one, but you have to read it to find out if he is as magical as he looks on paper.
Her books are a wild ride.
Absolutely.
The Inmate, if you haven't read that one too.
The Inmate?
Yes.
Well, this one we both read. I am madly in love with Rachel Harrison. This is her newest book, and it is vampire themed.
Yes.
And we both read it, and what they think is a girls' weekend out in town turns out to be a wild night that changes Naomi forever. What happens to her at night? Why all of a sudden does she feel this need to drink blood? Maybe she's a vampire, maybe she's not. I don't know.
Hard to say, but I know it definitely changes her life and her, course of her whole trajectory. So
absolutely. Yeah. Nice. What else have you read? I know we both read this one.
A couple of thrillers in here too. So I don't have her most recent, but T.J. Newman was a flight attendant in her past life. Well, I think she retired, but then she turned to become an author. This one is called Drowning. So it's 6 minutes after takeoff. This flight goes down in the Pacific Ocean. Engineer Will Kent is trapped inside with his daughter, and the entire crew and passengers are panicking. Air is running out, and they're trying to figure out how they can save themselves from this bottom of the ocean. It's wild ride.
Wow, I'm not sure I can read that one.
Her newest one is called Worst Case Scenario. Talks about a issue with a nuclear power plant and another plane going down. So that's kind of her thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So they are definitely terrifying, but they keep you going from start to finish like an action movie. So that's a good pick too.
Excellent.
One Perfect Couple is a thriller by Ruth Ware, very popular author. In this one, it's another sort of trapped kind of situation. So Lila is kind of stuck in a rut, and her boyfriend, who's a struggling actor, gets this call to be on a new reality TV show called One Perfect Couple.
Oh.
And they go to this luxury resort on an island, and they get to live there with, I think it's 5 other couples through the time of the show.
So they both go?
They do, yes.
Oh, okay.
And there's some drama there, but the big issue is that there's a big storm coming.
Oh.
And knocks power off the island. Everybody is fighting with each other. There may be some murder involved, but it was a good
So
pick.
is it like Survivor
Kind
meets
of,
Love
yeah.
Island?
Yes, in a way, yeah.
All right, for those reality
Yes,
fans, this looks
yeah.
like it's going to be the book for you.
Yes, could be.
Excellent. Well, I have a few nonfiction because sometimes we need a little reality in our life. The Joy of Connections is the last book written by Dr. Ruth, and as we know, we lost her this year. She passed away, and I had the pleasure of meeting her, and she was just the most amazing, tiny little spitfire of a woman who was kind and smart and so funny. And the book she left us with was called The Joy of Connections, and it is a book to combat loneliness. And during the pandemic, a lot of people retreated inside their homes and inside themselves, and they're not quite sure how to come out of that and make friends. So this is a book with 100 ways to beat loneliness, and each page has suggestions and affirmations about feeling better about yourself and tips to meet new people. And basically they're calling it a viral kick in the pants that we need to find deep human connections. So thank you, Dr. Ruth, for everything you did for us, and enjoy this book. I am going to read it, buy it, gift it. I think it's a book we all need in life.
Absolutely.
For those of you who have watched The Gilmore Girls, I'm sure if you haven't watched it, you have at least heard of it. It's the story of the mother-daughter relationship, and they talk really, really fast in the show. Well, Ann Hood is a local-ish author. She's out of Rhode Island, and this is an anthology. And what Ann did is she got 15 authors to talk about their relationship with the Gilmore Girls and how it has changed their life. They talk about whether the Gilmore Girls is a show, a lifestyle, a religion, but how it affected them with their relationships with their own daughters or their mothers. And it's funny, it's insightful, and it's just a way to just keep talking about the Gilmore Girls and how much we love them so much.
Perfect. Let's see. So I got a couple of nonfiction picks here too.
Awesome.
So let me put my other ones down here for a little bit. We'll start with some crafting because, winter, it's cold, not much to do, it's dark. So we turn to some things that, could be good for indoors. So crocheting birds, this one's really just a cute little book. Lots of different patterns, really great instructions. And then this one I loved. It was called Creative Book Art. So it's all types of things you can do with recycled books. So I'm going to see if I can find some pictures in here. But there's some really beautiful projects you can do. And what I love to do when I'm crafting or just reading or at home, obviously reading because I'm going to be putting on my headphones to do my audiobooks while I'm crafting too. So
oh my gosh, what a great way to multitask.
Absolutely. So those are two fun ones that are sitting on our new nonfiction shelves. Another fun one is called the Stardew Valley Cookbook. So if you're a cozy gamer, you like to do that for the winter time too, or anytime. This has more than 50 recipes straight out of the game. So it's divided by the seasons like the game is. So let me see if we can kind of hold this up a little bit better. And it does have really pretty illustrations in there too. And the food looks fantastic.
You're making me hungry.
I know,
Look at that. That's wonderful.
Starving. So all kinds of different things from the game, including even this weird one, Strange Bun and Void Mayonnaise, which, if you know, you know.
You know what's really cool is I know we're talking about books today, but I don't know if people know that you can come to the library and check out video games.
Absolutely.
And I do know we have Stardew Valley here.
And many more. And you can place them on hold too if you don't see them out on the shelves. So
excellent. So parents, if you're looking to read and keep your kids busy so you can have some quiet time, come get some video games.
Good idea. And this one was so good that I had to buy it for my own collection at home. So this is by Sarah Fennell. She is a food blogger. She's been doing it since 2010, and she really focuses on desserts, which my favorite. So this has everything from comforting classics to like a nostalgic flavor with a modern twist. And like I said, I loved it so much I bought it for myself. I mean, it has delicious cinnamon rolls. There is the one I'm really looking forward to doing is Matilda's chocolate cake.
Wow. So I'm wondering when that's going to appear here in the library for the staff to munch on.
Perhaps we might get some pistachio croissants out of me.
Wow.
We'll see.
That's phenomenal.
But love this one. There's so many fantastic cookbooks in our collection too.
Excellent.
Maybe she'll let you have a go.
No, let's talk about your last nonfiction book.
My last nonfiction pick. All right, so this one is Secrets of the Octopus by Cy Montgomery. She also wrote Soul of an Octopus. And another new one she did this year was called What the Chicken Knows, and that's on my to-be-read book.
Wow.
But this is a companion book to the National Geographic documentary by the same name, narrated by Paul Rudd, one of our favorites.
Yes.
And it features just some stunning photographs in here too.
Wow.
And all written about octopuses, which are just amazing animals. Really.
I don't think people realize how intelligent they are.
No, I don't think so either. And that is all written about right here. The Secrets of the Octopus.
Fantastic.
So,
well, the last book I talked about was from Ann Hood, who I said is out of Rhode Island.
Yes.
However, I did bring a few of our more local authors. So Beatrice Williams is a well-known historical fiction writer, and Husbands and Lovers is her latest book. And the great thing about it is it takes place in today's age, and it flashes back to 1951 Egypt. So the storyline that's going on takes place between Mystic, Connecticut and Cape Cod, but it flashes back to Egypt, and there's a twist with relationships and, of course, you know, old love, new love, past love, family drama. I read this book over the summer, and when I finished it, I was actually on a plane with hundreds of people, and I could not stop sobbing. And it was sobbing of happiness and completeness, and I just was such an incredible, beautiful ending. So I really wanted to bring this up. And Beatrice Williams is out of Southeastern Connecticut, and she does a lot of author talks around here. So
Yeah,
if you get a
she's
chance
awesome.
to meet her, she is phenomenal. One of the surprise books that I have read twice that love is Alyssa Bass's book. Alyssa is very local to us. She used to write for our local newspaper, and this is called Happy Hour. And it's a really quick, easy read about relationships and friendships. KK's marriage ends, and you know, she's middle-aged and everything is going on, and she just wants to stay on the couch. She's done. And her friends are like, no, it's not happening. You are getting up and you are going to continue with life. And so she ends up meeting a much younger man, Jay the bartender, and kind of discovers who she is, and he brings out her lightness. And of course it's romantic and it's a little sexy and it's super fun to read. This is the book that I would recommend to my girlfriends and then get together and talk about it. And Alyssa is a phenomenal person, and this book is such a treat. It is dessert, 100% dessert. So definitely Happy Hour by Alyssa Bass.
Let's see. So I do have a couple of books that were part of our Groton Public Library's Best of 2024.
Now this list is the best books recommended by our staff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. So we vote on these, kind of just reading all throughout the year, and then right around November we ask, you know, what were some of the best books that you loved this year? So one of them is actually a National Book Award winner.
Oh.
So this is James by Percival Everett. It is a reimagining of Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. And it's told from the enslaved Jim's point of view.
Okay.
So that one is a great pick.
And I noticed you brought a Playaway. So
I did. I have two here, actually.
that goes really
Yeah.
perfect with if you're looking to do crafting or knitting or a puzzle.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
then
puzzles. Yes, you're
you
onto
can
something.
plug these into your headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And speaking of puzzles, our puzzle swap is another thing that people don't know about too, the ongoing. So those are always available. Bring your own or come pick up a brand new one.
Excellent.
Let's see, some other ones we have here. This was just a graphic novel, also a fantastic collection.
And that's a prompt.
It is a prompt in winter reading.
Excellent.
I have the print version of Real Americans, and then I have, let's see, these are more geared for children and teens. So this one I know was a children's kind of middle grade fantasy novel, highly recommended. This one is more of like a legal thriller for teens.
Oh,
it's
for
called This
teens.
Is Our Story by Ashley Elston. I believe she also writes for adults too. I know it involves like the stag there, a hunting party kind of gone wrong, and the intern who's a teen at a legal firm has kind of the inside scoop, so she's kind of trying to crack the case on what's going on, political intrigue, a bunch of other things too. And this one, I don't know a whole lot about, but I think it was, let me just double check.
Is it on your to-read list?
It is.
Nice.
This was recommended by one of our children's librarians called Soul Lanterns. I believe it was set during the World War II.
Okay.
Yes, in Hiroshima. I think around the bombing.
Okay.
So historical fiction pick for middle grade. So there are some here, but this entire list of our staff favorites is available through email. So if you're an email subscriber, you already got this in your inbox this morning. If you're not, sign up on our website. You can also check it out on social media, Facebook and Instagram. So yeah.
Excellent. I actually brought some YA books too because I never like to forget our teenage readers, but adults can read them too. I stayed on the theme of
Nice.
local authors.
Yes.
Luann Rice, right here in our area. This is her brand new YA novel, and Like a lot of Luann's books, it focuses on sisters. Unfortunately, Ollie's sister is murdered, and it is an unsolved, cold case, and she is, of course, devastated and wrecked. And then one day, she finds another girl in the same exact place where her sister's body was left, but this young woman is still alive. So they work together to try to find the murderer, and it talks about the sister relationship, and it just brings them really closer together. And as always, Luann never fails to disappear. If you're looking for a nice romance, Jason Reynolds, he is a best-selling author. He wrote Look Both Ways, Long Way Down. This is a teenage love story, and it's told from his point of view. The character, his name is Neon, and much like Jason's books, there's kind of a little trope in it. It starts with 24 months ago, 24 weeks ago, 24 hours ago, 24 minutes ago, and now. And they're calling it, you know, the Judy Blume for today's teenagers, and it's a little love story, and the decisions they make are as teenagers in love, and Jason Reynolds never fails to disappoint. This is phenomenal.
Excellent. So let's
So
see.
I hear that the big trope in romance this year is hockey.
I think
Have
it
you
might
seen any
be.
of those this year?
I did, and it's funny that we both happen to be reading some at the same time and just happen to talk about it. So I'm actually listening to mine, popular theme here, audiobooks. Mine is called Puck and Prejudice by Leah Riley, and it's a fun spin on the classic by Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice.
And I see that you have that on your phone. How did you get that? Is that a library book?
It is the Libby app, available through our library. So all you need is your Groton Public Library card and sign in, get the app, and start listening or reading on your Kindle or in ebooks.
And if you've never done that before, then come on in and we'll teach you how to do it. Well, I brought 2 hockey books too. And I grew up in Maine. I love hockey. I speak the language. And this one is super fun. We all need some rom-com in our life. And this is a story about this hockey player who had a one-night stand, and she disappeared, and he can't stop thinking about her. So every time he plays in another city, he looks for her. Can't be found. He finally gets traded to another team. He's given up on her, and what happens? He looks up into the stands, and there she is. And all he knows about her is she's a nurse in the area. So let's see what happens. You know, he's going to want to meet her again. And this is so adorable and so cute, and I love it that he cannot get her out of his mind. This one is another trope that you're going to see around. This one's called The Pucking Wrong Number. Very clever. However, it's about somebody who gets a text meant for somebody else. And of course she answers it. Why does she answer it? She has no idea, but she's intrigued by the man on the other end. And guess what? It's hockey god Lincoln. So let's see what happens. He doesn't know he's talking to her. She doesn't know it's him. Will they get together? What will happen? But hockey, love, romance, light, fun. It's the way to go, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I have 2 more, and then we're going to talk about your
Yeah,
children's
go with yours
books.
first.
And
Yeah.
I will talk really quick about these.
No, that's fine. These are some great ones too.
Switching to heaviness. Mitch Albom always writes those heart-wrenching, deep, historical books. This one takes place in Greece. It's World War II. The Nazis have invaded the island, and the narrator of this story is Truth. And the story is 4 people who are affected by the Nazis invading. Nico, Sebastian, his brother, Fanny, the girl they're both in love with, and Nazi soldier Udo. And it goes back and forth between their perspectives and how one little lie can just take you there. And if you haven't read this book, this was the first book I read in 2024. Kristen Hanna, known for her epic novels, The Women. It is a nurse who goes to Vietnam with the Army Corps Corps of Nurses and what happens, but more importantly, what happens when she comes back. Because as everybody knows, there were no women in Vietnam. So of course there's no support system when she comes back. Kristen Hanna, well done, always amazing, epic. Couldn't put it down, read this whole book in almost one sitting. So this was my pick for the best book of 2024. Now, we didn't talk about children, but you brought a few children's books.
We did do a couple, but we do have some for the younger set too. So I have 2 picture books here.
Now, are they going to be involved with winter reading as well?
They are, yes. I know it's going to be taking place around Stretch the Giraffe's birthday celebration, which is also Take Your Child to the Library Day.
So that'll come in February.
Yes, yep, beginning of February. So we'll end it off with a couple of picks for the kids. So this one is sort of a fiction that reads, a nonfiction that reads like a fiction for kids.
Okay.
It's informative and entertaining. It does say there are no ants in this book, but spoiler alert, there are tons of ants in this book.
Oh my goodness,
So
okay.
it is just like a silly book. This girl is going on a picnic. She's like, oh great, I got all my things all set up here. There are no ants coming to eat my picnic fruits and cake here, but there are so many, and it tells you about who knew there were so many different types of ants. I love a book where you could just have fun while reading it and learn a lot, but there are definitely ants in this book.
Love it,
So
absolutely.
very cute pick for your inquisitive child. This one is just a lot of fun. Buffalo Fluffalo. He's a grumpy little buffalo.
He sure
and
is.
He is so fluffy. And he goes around and through the prairie, here is where he lives, and he meets all these different little friends along the way, but he's so grumpy to them and so mean, and they're not really put off by his grumpiness though. They keep going.
Okay.
And one day he's just fed up. It rains and pours on poor little Buffalo here. And at the end, everybody's happy because they realize that he's not so grumpy after all. Very sweet book.
He's adorable.
So good pick here.
Excellent.
And with that,
Thank you so much for being on.
you're welcome.
So, if you're looking for something to read, please come into the Groton Public Library. Starting in January, we'll have our winter reading for adults, and in February, we'll have winter reading for children. Please check out our newsletter, come into the library, look on our website. This has been At Your Library. Thanks for checking in.